All right, I'd like to call this meeting, July 16th City Council to order. I'd like to ask Madam Clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Gregg, Councilmember Shealy.
Here.
Councilmember McBride, Councilmember Mitchell, Councilmember Brady, Councilmember Gregory, Councilmember Waring, Councilmember Seekins, Councilmember Tinkler,
Here.
Councilmember Bowden, Councilmember Appel, Councilmember Parker, Mayor Cogswell.
Here. I'd now like to ask Councilmember Bowden, before I do, to give the invocation and lead everyone in the pledge. But before I do, I want to say congratulations. We not one, but two recent fathers. So I wanted to say congratulations to you, Councilman Bowden, as well to you, Councilman Appel. Right.
I'd like to just observe a moment of silence today. This weekend brought some difficult events, both to people who would otherwise be in this room with us and to our country. So if you would just observe a moment of silence, thinking about Councilmember Gregg and Chief Walker, whose fathers unfortunately both passed away, as well as what we can do to just be better to one another and bring the temperature down in this country a little bit. Amen. Thank you.
Amen. Well put. All right, we've got two very exciting presentations and recognitions. Quite a packed house here today. So I'm going to invite Coach Matthew Spivey and the James Island Charter High School baseball team to join me up here on the podium. Come on up, guys. Come on up. Come on up, man. Y'all are official now. Official. Gentlemen. All right. Congratulations. Thank you. All right, you look like a baseball player. Good to see you. Congratulations, guys. Congratulations. Congrats. All right, move on down, guys. Y'all been in a dugout before? How are you? Good to see you. Congratulations. One more. Almost didn't get through security, huh? All right. Very honored to read this proclamation celebrating these young men. Whereas on May 22nd, 2024, James Island Charter High School swept the South Carolina High School, 4A state championship series in baseball, beating Lawrence High School 10-7 in game 2. And whereas this is the Trojans' first state title in baseball since 1996 and the third state title in the program history. And whereas the Trojans' season was full of success from the beginning, named Shipyard PBR preseason tournament champions, and then becoming the 7 4A regional champions for the 4th year in a row. And whereas James Island Charter High School became the #1 ranked team in South Carolina, an 18th ranked team in the country. And whereas Coach Matt Spivey, along with assistant coaches Lawton Hendricks, Matt Porter, Austin Heflin, David Beckley, and Dylan Sawyer led the team to win the state title and hold an overall record of 29-3-1. Now, therefore, I, William S. Cogswell, am honored to hereby proclaim July 16th, 2024 as the James Island Charter High School Baseball 2024 4A State Championship Day. Coach, you want to say a few words, or where is it? Where is it? Behind me. Come on up, man. Put you on the spot. Oh, you, man.
I'm done on my speaker.
All right, all right. Well, congratulations, guys. Y'all want to come in here and get a picture with the proclamation? Let me let the coach hold it. Take my signature tab off. Guys, let me get behind. Y'all are not as important as you are. Go on in. All right, let's get a round of applause for these guys. I mean, put you on.
That's all right.
Congratulations. man.
You know, I keep this.
Yeah, yeah, man, that's you, that's you.
Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, yeah, man.
Hopefully we'll do it again next year.
Yeah, I mean, see y'all next year, right? See y'all next year. Yeah, man, absolutely. Yeah, what are y'all doing? What are you doing?
All right, we'll do a little. We could just sit just for one more proclamation. Yeah, yeah.
Hang on, hang on. I gotta read you up here. You're coming, you're coming. All right. Next up, I'd like to invite the City of Charleston gymnastics team and the coaches to join me up here on the podium. There you go. Now you can come on up. Come on up. Come on up. Give these ladies a round of applause. All right, second proclamation. Whereas the City of Charleston is proud to recognize the outstanding achievements of the 2023-2024 City of Charleston gymnastics team state champions and regional qualifiers. And whereas the team competed in 6 regular season competitions, showcasing their skill, dedication, and sportsmanship. Whereas every gymnast on our team qualified for their state meet, a testament to their hard work and excellence in the sport of gymnastics. And whereas of the 10 gymnasts eligible for regionals, 7 qualified, representing South Carolina and the USA Gymnastics region, 8 with pride and distinction. And whereas at the Region 8 Championship, our gymnasts competed against the top gymnasts from South Carolina, North Carolina, Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, Louisiana, achieving placements by finishing in the top half of their respective age groups. And whereas these gymnasts dedicate 6 to 14 hours a week to practice, demonstrating immense physical and mental resilience to achieve their goals. And whereas we are immensely proud of their accomplishments this year, highlighting the exceptional talent and commitment of our gymnastics team. Now, therefore, I, William S. Cogswell, Mayor of the City of Charleston, do hereby proclaim recognition and celebration of the following gymnasts and their coaches for their exceptional achievements. McKenna, Fonnie? She's not here. State champion on the floor. Grace Costa, state champion on bars. Addie Johnson, vault state champion. Y'all step forward. Y'all celebrate. You scream loud when your name is called, all right? Now you start back over. Annie Bobbitt, regional qualifier, 7th place vault and floor. Logan Anderson, state champion on bars and all around, regional qualifier, 6th place beam and vault, 2nd place bars, floors and all around. Delaney Cunningham, state champion on vault and bars, regional qualifier, 5th place vault, floor and all around. Baylor Hamby, state champion on vault, regional qualifier, 2nd place vault. Emmy Cates, regional qualifier, 6th place vault and bars. Jala Brown, regional qualifier, 5th place floor. Natalie Butler, regional qualifier, 8th place bars, 7th place beam. And coaches, Emily O'Toole, Shannon Tustin, Chelsea Fecky, and Jessica Morris. In witness therefore, I do hereby affix my seal. Let's give them all a round of applause. All right, congratulations, Liz. You saying it, Coach, or? Amen to that, amen to that.
Thank
Good to
you.
see you. Congratulations. Y'all can do some, cartwheels off the stage.
And Chelsea, if I'm not mistaken, this is second year in a row?
Picture, get back up here,
What?
sorry.
Second year in a
Not
row?
doing it. Come on up,
Yeah.
come on up. Coach, you might
this?
hold up.
I don't know.
You come on, you get in here.
You can do it.
Get a lot more. Here, hey, you on, huh?
You ready? 1, 2, 3.
You get to keep it. Yeah, got to frame that.
You want to?
All right, moving on. We are now in the public hearings section of the meeting. We're going to have Christopher Morgan will be presenting. As a reminder, I please ask members of council to hold questions and comments until after public hearings. So Christopher, if you want to take it from here.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor. Pull this up just real quick. Is this mic on? Yep. Maybe I need to pull it up a little bit. Is that working? Get the PowerPoint going here. 1 second. I'll go ahead and start in on this before we get the slides up. The first one is one that you all saw last month, as it is 1614 Wilton Street on James Island. It's 2/10 of an acre. It's a request to rezone from a single-family residential to a limited business. There we go. Okay, should be good. There we go. I'm sorry. Is it? Is it on? It's got a red dot on.
It's
Does that mean the battery? Do we have another one? The mic? Yeah. Is this better?
Use voice.
Is that better?
Use voice.
Okay. All right, how about this? Better? All right. Okay, so rezoning at 1614 Wilton. It's a request to go from SR1 to limited business. We have the maps. Oops, maps. Whoa. I don't know what's going on with this? There we go. So this is the property in question. It's on Wilton Street across from the Walmart on Folly Road. It's right near the intersection of Wilton and Folly. The same owner owns 3 other parcels that wrap this to the north and to the west. And we have an image here that shows some of the zonings along this section of Folly Road. Typically, the more intense zonings have been on the western side over towards the Walmart, that area. The eastern side has more of a kind of mixture in with the residential that's to the rear and used to be along this section of Folly Road. So those zonings have been typically a little bit less intense on the eastern side where this one is. This is in our comprehensive plan as just as our standard suburban kind of designation. Doesn't mean that you couldn't have commercial there, but it means kind of less intense commercial. Here again, as I zoom in, this shows some of the surrounding zonings in Charleston County and our town of James Island. Residential single family to the east, office residential to the south, residential single family to the north. Future land use recommendations, and the difference between SR1 and LB. I think we've gone through that before. This request also would not be in conflict, would be in conflict, excuse me, with the Folly Road overlay, which calls for primarily small-scale office and residential uses on this eastern side of Folly Road. And this, just some images of the property. And of course, when y'all are discussing this, we can come back to some of these images and pictures, whatever. It was recommended for disapproval at Planning Commission by a 6-0 vote. We'll go on, we'll go through all these items and then come back for the individual discussion. The next one is a request at 1000 King Street to rezone from DR2F to a planned unit development. It also involves a height change from 2.5 stories to 3 stories for a portion of the project property, and then also a height change from the 2.5 stories to the 7 stories for a rear portion of the property. Because of the nature of how our height districts work, that has to be a separate request together with this in the same cycle as this, but it has to be the city requesting that as opposed to just the property owner. Here is the subject property here on Upper King Street. It's just to the south of the Charter School of Math and Science, just to the north of the Instant Homes, across the street from Cleveland. It backs up to I-26. That plays heavily into the justifications for the height on the site. This is image that shows the portion of the site that would go from the 2.5 story to the 3-story district. And then this layout of the site, it shows the King Street Palace in the middle, which is the historic that would be retained. It's been housing for a number of years now. It went from being an auditorium to being that housing. It was affordable housing at one point. It's now market rate. There would be new buildings built to the front and then a larger building built to the rear up against the interstate elevated ramps. And here you see the request for the 3-story in the pinkish color and the 7-story request at the far rear for the 7-story in the blue. And in our comprehensive plan, this is in our city centers area. So this is an area that would be appropriate for the greatest densities, the greatest heights. This has definitely been in line with just a few pictures of the site here. You get a sense here of the height of the interstate overpasses. Some of those go up to 9 in proximity to this property. Here's a view from King Street, across King Street. And then we have some slides from the applicant and relationship to the future low line. It backs up to that. There would have a tail that would open onto the low line, and there would be a key connection from the low line over to King and to Cleveland Street by virtue of this development. And just a conceptual image of how the new buildings could work on the property. Again, another view here. And here's a view from King Street. Again, that the rear building that is the 7-story isn't even visible from this because of the distance to the rear and the other buildings in front of it. Planning Commission has reviewed that and recommended approval 6-0 for both here. And here's the 2.5 to Old City. And I'm going to just zip through this because we've already discussed this. Same thing there. Again, they recommended 6-0 for that. And then we get to rezoning in the historic district, limited business to DR1F at East Bay at Boyce's Wharf and East Elliott Street. And here you have the property, again, presently limited business. It's across the street from residential. It's currently residentially used, excuse me. And the owners of the condos that are on the site would like to have a residential designation for it. There are provisions in our zoning ordinance that allow for, if it's residentially zoned, nearby commercial parking cannot be used for restaurant or bar use. And I think there is some concern about future restaurants or bars in the near proximity. And by virtue of this rezoning, those spaces would not be able to use for that. Neighborhood designated area, the rezoning is in keeping with that. Real images about 20 years ago. And just near Rainbow Row. This is a nearby commercial building here too there. So, and Planning Commission recommended for that. Got a series of recent annexations, and I'm just going to go through these super fast. We've got 214 Hickory Street, which is coming in the city as SR2. We've got 1141 Pearl Drive in West Ashley coming in the city as SR2. We've got 1451 Riverfront Drive in West Ashley coming in the city as SR1. 2414 Cherokee Hall Lane in West Ashley coming in the city as SR1. 1825 Meadow Lawn Drive in West Ashley coming in the city as SR1. And those are all the cases that are before you tonight.
And Mr. Mayor, we have 3 people signed up to speak for public hearings.
Okay, we have 3 people signed up to speak. I'll give them each a minute and a half. Please, when you come up to speak, respect the rules of decorum. If you do not, you'll hear me hit the gavel once. If I hit it twice, then you'll be asked to leave the meeting. Please do not direct your comments at any one particular council member. This is not a back and forth discussion. This is for your voice to be heard on these given matters.
All right.
First speaker.
Anthony Bryant.
In the backdrop of what the mayor said, you also can get 5 years in prison for public official feels threatened under state law, and federal law, you can get 10 years in prison for threatening a judge or whoever. So I want to make sure that that's on the table, that you can go to jail. All right. So basically what I'm here for is to show my respect to council, and however you vote, you vote. Secretary of State told me before you, the state told me that I have some documents given to Mr. Shealy of some concern of an investigation regarding my company, Bryant Group, Inc., which I dealt with myself. It was a 30-year concern. So I came before this body from 2013 to 2022, paid all my taxes, did what I needed to do. But this is a state issue. My apologies to my mayor and others, because it's a state question, and now the state got to do with Anthony G. Bryant. So you get relief. So I want to get to Mr. Shealy, get that to Mr. Walker, and whatever concerns he may have, I'm on Cortland Avenue.
Muhammad Idris. And this is, did you want to speak during public hearings or citizens participation? Okay, all right, thank you. Arthur Lawrence. Was there anyone else who needed to speak at a public hearing? We'll have citizens participation later. This is just for public hearings.
All right. Any questions, comments from members of council? Hang on. I got Councilwoman Parker first, and then I'll go to Gregory.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. All right, so I have one rezoning in my district. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, it's a tough one. And I'd love your discussion, your input, since you are one of the votes. I know Planning Commission, the city was sort of adamantly opposed to it, Planning Commission as well. At the end of the day, I truly believe that Folly Road needs to be revitalized. Some of these spaces, some of these areas that are overgrown, I want to encourage development along here in a way that's that James Island wants it to be. LB is an intense zoning because of the neighborhood being directly behind it. I will say, for the individual who applied for this, I did ask that they reach out to the community. I have heard nothing. They did reach out to the community. I received some input on like a public page. Ultimately, James Island wants more gathering spaces. LB is intense. This is a difficult property. Is it still up there? Yeah. So I've gone back and forth with city. These 3 parcels are already LB. I've spoken with the county. I've talked about process. I do think that this is one of these parcels that, like, with the zoning code rewrite, we need to sort of revisit areas like this. I mean, those of you that have been doing this longer than I have, just think about what you would do if it were your district. So I think this is where I've landed. I do wish that our LB classification offered some level of commercial for Folly. In other jurisdictions, I think, you know, the things that we don't want to see are car washes, gas stations, things like that. And that's what our LB allows. I wish that we could approve the LB with those restrictions, but we cannot, correct, Mr. Morgan? I did ask the city to maybe provide the applicant with a Plan C. They don't have one right now. I do think that if the applicant would be willing, I think a PD, a planned development might be suitable for this spot. If they do have plans that then we can all feel comfortable giving that higher zoning classification, knowing that this is going to be, you know, what's expected. So I think that's it. I think at this point, I can't move to approve unless we are able to have another LB classification. Sorry, that was one question. Is there a way moving forward? What would the process be to create that LB classification with those limitations?
Well,
You know, taking out some of those more intense uses.
so the CT district does that.
Mhm.
It has a less intense number of uses. It does have some building size restrictions.
Mhm.
And so the staff had discussions with the owner about possibly having CT, and Planning Commission even mentioned, a couple of members, that they might endorse the idea of the whole 4 parcels coming in as CT because it's less intense.
But, and just quickly, you know, he would be downzoning. I'm trying to play devil's advocate. I know y'all have been here. He's down, you know, if he does that, he's downzoning. So, I understand. I think that's still on the table. What I do want the applicant to know is that the city we want something here. James Island wants something here. Second question, the overlay. Final question. The Folly Road overlay. If he were to go to LB, would the overlay prevent some of those more intense uses?
No, because once it gets the LB designation in our zoning ordinance, the overlay does have some criteria about buffers, setbacks, things like that, but it
Mhm.
wouldn't change the underlying use. So it would
Okay.
still have those more intense uses. Yes.
Okay. If it is denied today, they can still reapply?
Yes.
Okay.
If they're reapplying for the same use, there is a waiting period, but if they're applying for a different category, there's not a waiting period.
Okay. I know I did this a month ago, but maybe just a motion to defer and the applicant can have more time?
Second.
Just really quick question. The property that, I know it's not oriented north-south, but it's naturally on the map to the north. What's that zone? The pink?
So it is limited business also. It's
Okay.
not in the Folly Road overlay. That's why it doesn't have the crosshatch on it. Yeah.
So when Councilmember Parker mentioned, you know, the trade-off maybe to go to CT, there'd be a downzoning, maybe a trade-off, right? You'd have that whole corner would be CT, which would allow it some more expanded use that, in my understanding, would be consonant with the vision for Folly Road. So I would highly encourage that owner to sort of think bigger picture and what's coming down the pike along the way on Folly Road. And this is a good parcel to sort of maybe have a compromise on the front end to get the back end all together in this under CT. That I would support that.
Councilman Gregory, I'm sorry, did you have? Okay, sorry. Councilman Bell. Coming back to you.
Well, we're talking about a different one or this one?
No, this one.
Oh. Yeah, sorry, we're still on. Okay. Sorry.
So I was gonna say basically the same thing. I mean, it seems to me, you can correct me if I'm wrong, that they want to do something with all of these parcels, right? That's why they're.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
To me, it's not really a downzoning. They don't have the zoning yet. So, you know, the applicant can certainly draw a line in the sand and we can vote them down, I think is sort of where this is going. Or, you know, you come to the table with, you know, trying to work with us and the community and seek a different zoning. So if it seems like the applicant's willing to do that, I'm certainly willing to support a deferral. If not, let's just vote it down and they can make a decision then.
Give one more chance.
Yeah, I suggest one more chance. We have a motion to defer in a second. Any further discussion on this one? This is for item 1. Can y'all turn your mics off? We're getting a little feedback. If there are no further questions, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Ayes have it.
Take 2 and 3 together.
I have a motion to take 2 and 3 together. Do I have a second?
Which one's 2 and 3, guys?
King Street.
Okay, we're ready for discussion then.
Can you, well, hang on. We got a motion to take them together. We have a second. All those in favor of taking them together, signify by saying aye.
Aye,
Opposed? Ayes have it. Let's now open it up for discussion.
okay.
Councilman Gregory and then Mitchell.
Yes, this is really a great project, by the way. And in order for us to really negotiate in good faith, the developers did go up on a timeframe for affordability, which was consistent with the discussions that we had. Now, since then, I've been talking about 50-year minimum. But on this one, because we did negotiate, and I believe in negotiating in good faith, and they did increase, this is one that I will support. But as we move forward, if it doesn't show 50-year affordability, don't even bring it before me.
We have a line in the sand.
Oh, since my colleague, Mike. Since my colleague in good standings have come to consensus, I don't have anything else to say, but I'm going to vote for approval. It's in the district I represent. I was working with them since 2017. And when this first came to us, it came with us for only 20 years. And I told them if they can't go any more than that, I would not support it. And so we worked together on it, and he went back to the owner, and the owner came back and said, okay, we'll go up to 30 years. And we went to the community association, they voted on it, they were satisfied with it. I went in the community was satisfied, so that's why it's here today. And so I'm voting to approve both items.
So we have a motion to approve with a properly second. Any further discussion, Councilwoman Parker?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I apologize, I may have missed it. So item 4, this is the same building?
We're on items 2 and 3.
I'm sorry, no, 2 and 3, I'm sorry. They're the same,
Yes.
okay.
They're related in
They're
fairness.
related,
Yeah,
okay.
technically, they are different.
So, but am I reading it right? So 2.5 stories to 7 stories?
In the back.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, thank you.
And I'll just, in the comment period, if I may, just echo what Councilman Gregory and Waring has said, that I think the developer, I met with them on a couple of occasions. They did it right. We appreciate you all, engaging the community, working with the city, and excited and being willing to help in the crisis of affordable housing that we need. So I really do appreciate that, and turn it over to Councilman Seekings.
Just very briefly, Mr. Mayor, I actually remember back in my young days as a lawyer when this went from the King Street Palace to housing, and the change that this is going to bring to the positive is really stunning. This is an incredible infill housing project where it's needed the most, and yeah, full support for this one. Just
All right.
now make it go.
That's right. So okay. Councilman Park, you have comments on this one?
Just a follow-up. Is this all, and this is an affordable housing project? I apologize. I didn't- In part. Okay, gotcha.
Okay, so we have a motion properly second. I'm sorry,
Mayor,
Councilman.
And I want to say that a lot of people might not know, but this was the King Street Palace, but it was this county hall at one time. And that's when I went to a lot of different dances with James Brown and all these other people that was coming. The shows was right there. And then, yeah, it was Presley and all of them was right there at County Hall. And when they changed it, we made sure that even the developer is going to hold the facade at front to stay the way it is. And that's why they're not touching the facade so far as the front. on King Street side. And I live right up the street from it, so I can tell you exactly how it is. And, you know,
You and I went to a concert there.
So it's nice.
Believe it or not.
Yeah, wrestling
Bad
was there
company.
too. All the wrestling was there and everything, so it changed.
Wrestling, I went to wrestling. All right, so we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed,
Aye.
ayes have it. All right, now we are on to item 4. Motion properly seconded. Any questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, ayes have it. Motion and properly seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, ayes have it. Move for approval. Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, ayes have it. What, that was 1 through, that was the remaining? Yeah, okay, great. All right, we are moving on. Yep. I'm sorry, Councilman Pell.
Just real quickly, I got an email earlier today about 1825 Meadow Lawn Drive as being one of the properties that had gone in for annexation, but was maybe having second thoughts.
I think that was 1812 Meadow Lawn.
Oh,
I think
got
this is a different, Christopher, is that correct? But I think it's 1812 that's
Okay.
getting, yes.
cool.
Okay, we are now on to approval of last meeting's minutes. Motion to approve and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, ayes have it. All right. Now we are on citizens participation. Madam Clerk, how many people do we have signed up?
Mayor, we have 4 people signed up to speak.
All right, we will give 2 minutes per speaker. And again, I will re-emphasize the rules of decorum. This is a place where we try to practice and insist on practicing civil discourse. So please keep your comments germane and do not direct your commentary towards any council member. This is not a back and forth. And if I, again, will give a warning by hitting the gavel once. If I have to hit it again, you will be removed from council chambers. So let's make sure that does not happen. Who's first?
Anthony Bryant, and the
Anthony
time
Bryant.
is 2 minutes.
When I came back home, my daddy gave me some money to start my company, Arnold M. Bryant Sr. My dad had a plumbing business. My grandfather had a plumbing business. And I came home to start a business, not to be a preacher, teacher, principal, or whatever else we do in our community. I came to keep tradition alive and a professional service in my community. And Bryant Group Inc. did the first direct CRA community survey in our community 30 years ago. And we were sponsored by First Federal of Charleston to do that Du Bois work. I did Du Bois work. Du Bois did in Philadelphia at the turn of the century. That's why my motivation was from, to bring a micro business to my community. And to have the Secretary of State operating in the bad faith that paid all my taxes, an a dormant company I didn't even use. I had a second company I had, Port City Services LA. I shut that down to take care of my daddy who was sick. And so I'm very proud of my father and his efforts, and my little brother Keith D. Bryan, who passed in 2018 from that address. We're in good standing at that address, believe me. For almost 60 years we've been there with my mother. So I'm offended by this experience of the FBI, DEA, other groups in our community, where I believe the war on drugs is a failure in our community. And I believe that our people have been destroyed because of those federal policies in our community. And I stand behind that because my father would tell me to do that. On Boys, and there was an old man on Boys in the Hood, Lawrence Fitzburn, that's my daddy. They're gonna gentrify our neighborhood and come back and take our houses. He told us that in the 1970s. And that's happening right now. So I bear witness to Arnold M. Bryant, seeing my great father, my great mother, you know, who owns that house, who wanna help her boys build something. Me and my brother together driving 68, coming to that house together with my daddy, who was alive then, a neighbor yard worker. And so I'm very proud of my community, my people, and whatever I've done in my life, I'm responsible for. Anything good in my life, it's been my community. I don't get the mayor this information. This is my last information to get to the mayor. There's no more to give him. I wish you all the best in your efforts, my friend. And I wish this council the best, especially our youth, full
Time.
council. And y'all take care.
Mohammed Idris.
I passed on some information on this. I wish you would read it. I love these, gentlemen here who established the Constitution in July. And this is the month of July also. Our president got shot Saturday on the 13th. And we got 13 of you all right here. Y'all should think about that. And he got shot in his ear. And the Bible said, let them who have ear hear. And the town he got shot in was Butler, Pennsylvania. It was in the state where the Constitution was signed, the city of Butler. Butler is a male servant, he serves the public. So there's a whole lot of significance in here relating to doing right and wrong. Now here your president gets shot in the air. And as I said, the Bible said, let them who have an ear hear. We should hear what the public is saying and doing the right thing. I was promised by Mayor Raleigh. I was promised by former Mayor Raleigh, pardon me, former Mayor Teckenberg, and now Mayor Carswell. I voted for him to be the mayor. I'm a poor man. I put poster board up and everything, work hard to try to get him elected, and he got elected. And we have a chief of staff making $240,000 a year. That's a shame before God. And here I'm a man who, a poor man, trying to get a center for our people on the east side. And everybody is lying. So we're gonna put a protest here Labor Day. And we're coming right here on Broad Street,
Time.
the four corners of law. Thank you.
Roy Neal.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. My name's Roy Neal. I own El Jefe Texican Cantina on King Street. I came here about 1.5 years ago and asked council to help me with an idea of IDs and underage drinking. And Councilman Seeking spearheaded the effort. Council approved it, and it's been a great effort. So thank you for that. I'm here tonight, though, for another growing issue that's on King Street, and that's mobile food carts. I think the mobile food carts, I've sent everybody a package here so you can look at it and to keep your meeting very efficient, Mr. Mayor. Please look through it. On Saturday night, there were 7 mobile food carts in a 2.5 block radius. They are out of control. It's not going to help my business. We close at 12:30, so it's not really going to impact my business. It's out of the character of King Street. We don't need New Orleans down there, and that's where it's going. It used to be 2 food carts, and it was 7 Saturday night. But it's fairness, Mayor, or Council, excuse me, I didn't mean to address each one of you. It's fairness. I have a business license. I had a late night permit. I've done I've jumped through all the hoops I need to jump through. These mobile food carts are not doing it. They're putting them right on the sidewalk. Their lines go right on the sidewalk. They're making a mess on the sidewalks. It's a safety issue. They got propane tanks out there. We need help. Please look at my comments and ask, are they paying hospitality tax? All kinds of things out there that we should be addressing and make sure that it's a fair playing field for all of the businesses that are trying to support Charleston. I applaud you for all the efforts that your administration has made on King Street. It's excellent. The code enforcement, we're all trying to live by the rules down there. It's all much, much better, and we thank you for it. But we're overlooking the mobile food carts, and we should address it, and it's an easy way to address it. Thank you for your time.
Nita Weiss.
Thank you for all your hard work for our community. I'm here to give you an update from an event that I attended last fall in DC with the White House Pacific Island Forum, where we were asked as one of 4 port cities, sister cities in the United States, Long Beach, New Orleans, Savannah, and Charleston, and now Madison, Wisconsin, to help out with bilateral relations in the Pacific due to escalating challenges in the region. And so as part of that, we've been asked to help out with partnering with a couple of different islands in the area, along with potential relationships with some of our state's top trade partners and tourism targets, as well as manufacturers in South Carolina and the Charleston region. And we brought Boeing with us to this event. So as a result of that, the State Department and the National Security Council, who we're working very closely with on these initiatives, had an inbound and outbound delegation to Papua New Guinea, which is becoming a hub in the Pacific for defense and a lot of infrastructure. Boeing's actually sold them a plane. So at any rate, they were here, and while they were visiting Charleston, we hosted them at Charleston Southern University. I had been asked to provide some letters of intent from Charleston. So one of those was looking at forming a sister city partnership with Lae, which is a port. It's their major port in Papua New Guinea. Sits right above Australia. And anyway, and then also with Charleston Southern, we had a letter of intent for a technical university in Lae. We also got a letter from the South Carolina Aquarium on some initiatives where they're doing collaborative work in the Pacific, and that this is something that they would collaborate with Papua New Guinea on. So while they were here, we also had a delegation there. And so I'm closing with, I have an invitation to the mayor and council for an event presentation next week that our chair will be virtually attending regarding sister cities and updates that we would like for you to attend. Thank you.
And Mr. Lawrence, did you want to speak during citizens?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. My name is Arthur Lawrence. And, you know, they say, just wait on him. Don't move and wait. 40 years ago, we asked that we have fine attached to weight in this community. When it flood, when it rain, the property owner around Ashley Avenue, Fishburne Street, around the hospital area, people just drive through like they're going to a racetrack, and especially trying to get to Mount Pleasant, North Charleston. The people on Fishburne Street, most of them had to build barricade in their yard to keep those water out the yard when these people speed through. They don't live on the city of down in the city of Charleston. We need protection. We have a fantastic police department. They do everything possible to slow these people down. They put barricade up, they go around the barricade, they move the barricade out the way, so it should be fine. It's 2 years. It means it could take the city of Charleston 40 years to come to this fact. A senior citizen told me, said, son, when we brought it here, just wait. When the shift occurs, it will happen. It's a shame that the city of Charleston don't take care of their senior citizen like they should, and the people that own home downtown on this peninsula. Now people say, oh no, we can't find them. Sure, you can find them. We scratch the police department like a rubber band, but they don't break. You have all these functions, the police department covered.
Time.
They have the resource and the capability of doing. So we ask council to make sure and protect the citizen of the city of Charleston.
And was there anyone else who I missed? All right, we did receive some comments. We received comments from Mr. Bryant. Those were sent in full to City Council. We also received one letter stating that Charleston Animal Society should allow transport of more than 3 cats per animal control officer per weekday to help control the cat population and help lost or abandoned pets. And those were all the comments we received.
Okay, that concludes the public comment period. I will say just one minor comment based on the no-wake zones that you're referring to. I think you'll be very happy when you come back next council meeting because great minds think alike, because that happens to be, it will be on the agenda for approval. All right, we are now on to petitions and communications. We have one appointment, and we have a motion that is, and probably seconded for Trey Watkins for the BA Large. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Ayes have it. There are no council communications. We are on the consent agenda items, so none of these items require a vote. So moving on to committee reports. And I will ask Councilman Shealy to take it from here.
Okay. Was there special facilities or community development before?
Those were just
Okay.
consent
Okay,
agenda.
good. Gotcha. Okay. Thank you. All right. So the Committee on Public Safety met yesterday at 2:00. Our first item was just for discussion only. It was just what Mayor Cogswell was talking about, but we're probably going to send it off to Traffic and Transportation, but that's a ordinance to amend the code of the City of Charleston, South Carolina, to add a new section 19-183, operation on flooded or closed streets, roads, highways, bridges, or alleys, providing that it shall be unlawful for any person to operate any motor vehicle, boat, or watercraft on any street, road, highway, bridge, or alley which is flooded or inundated within the City of Charleston, either, number one, in excess of speed of 5 miles per hour, number two, in such a manner as to cause water waves or wakes to damage property alongside of or adjacent to such street, road, highway, bridge, or alley at any speed, or three, in such a manner as to cast a discharge water waves wake that carry beyond the edge of the street, road, highway, bridge, alley, or curb line. So that we had a good discussion. We were all in agreement. There may need to be some tweaks or some adjustments there to the wording, or maybe some additions, but we're going to send that to Traffic and Transportation, I believe, next month. So we also, let's see, on number B, we had, we talked about permit fee proposals for the Fire Marshal Division and some increases in some of those fees. That'll come before the August Ways and Means Committee, so everyone will get a chance to take a look at that, and we'll vote on that in Ways and Means in August. We had an approval of a MOA between the City of Charleston and the College of Charleston to allow Charleston Police Department to use the TD Arena and the Johnson Center for shelter and staging of personnel during community-wide emergencies. We also approved a MOA between the city and the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs concerning emergency response request for assistance in physical security and access control at Ralph H. Johnson VA Hospital. We approved a MOA between CPD and Charleston County Critical Incident Management System Outreach Program, which outlines partner agency and community partner responsibilities. Okay, let's see. We so I will move for the adoption of the report.
Moved, probably seconded. Any further discussion? Yeah, well, well, we'll go with you, Mitchell. Go ahead. Mike.
We're gonna be sending this to the other committee and dealing with the flooding. I don't have a problem with it, but the only thing I'm saying is that where I live, well, you know, it's Eugene King, it's flooded. If I'm in a meeting somewhere and it's flooding and raining and I'm coming home, and if they see me, how I'm gonna get home? Because Rutledge Avenue, right where Garden Street is, flooded in that area. King Street to Line Street flooded in that area. I live in that area that's gonna flood all over, so I wouldn't be able to get home at all, so I have to sleep outside of the street, right? I'm just asking. I've been there 39 years, so I can tell you how the floods wrong in that particular.
No, I think the UG pump station will help deal with that in due course. And I think in terms of in the interim, of course, obviously, you need to get home and go to bed. We will let you, through the barricades. The
No, I
point,
don't need the barricade. I just want to say how I begin, so, because they said I'm not going through the water, I might have to do that to get back to my house.
Right.
Because I have to come down Rutledge Avenue to turn into Congress to get back to.
I think it would be for local traffic only is really the intent here.
I just
Yeah.
want to be in trouble.
I want you sleeping outside. Councilman Bowden.
No, that was actually part of Chief Walker's plan to have you out patrolling the streets.
I'm out there.
No, I just wanted to suggest that this is a great thing. I've actually seen videos on the internet of like storm chasers coming here for hurricanes and speeding through streets and kicking wake all into people's houses. This is absolutely necessary. You know, it's not lost on me that this might have some difficulty with enforcement in the midst of emergency situations. I think it's sort of incumbent on staff to think about how we advertise this, I mean, like, it came, when I read this, I was like, we could put a literal no wake zone sign on some streets, but, you know, however, for it to be effective, there's going to have to be something other than relying on pure enforcement on, you know, kind of an ad hoc basis.
Absolutely. Councilman
So
Steve.
just really briefly, so one of the things that we have gone back to the drawing board on is to add another portion to this, which is not to go around barricades that are put up. As you may recall, we're requisitioning more barricades. We've allocated money. There will be more barricades available to put up to close streets. And that makes it consistent. It is already a violation of state law to go around a barricade. So when we put the barricades up, we can note both the city ordinance and the state law will be consistent with the two. So we're really just getting ourselves in line. And when the streets are as bad as the ones that we're talking about, Councilmember Mitchell, you don't want to drive your car through there anyway, because you're going to get a ride home from the fire department. And that's really what we're trying to avoid here. So.
Mr. Mayor, I understand all of that, but I said I've been living in this area for 70 years, 70 plus years. Flooding is what I know.
Yep.
But trying to get home, what I'm saying where I live, you know, and if I'm down here at a meeting, or if I'm somewhere in a meeting trying to get back, if I get back through those areas, that's the only way I'm gonna get back, even if I get in Gatson Green area. If I'm back there and have to get back on this side, I'm gonna have to get there somewhere, and I could kind of dibby around and go around in circles, but I still have to come through some of those small little areas, the water to get through, and the barricade might be there. And if I go through it, they might stop me, and then I go crazy, you see? That's all I'm saying. You know, I don't have a problem with it, but I'm just talking about it.
Mayor and council, councilman, we've been wading in the water all our lives. We know how to get through the water. You know how to get through the water, okay? All right.
Councilman Parker.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councilmember Mitchell, just to be clear, I think you, if I'm not mistaken, you can still drive through, just not over 5 miles per hour?
No, you can't drive through.
If it's barricaded.
We
Right,
have
if
an
it's
amendment.
barricaded, you can't go, but.
Again,
So-
we're working on it. It's been, so we have Councilman Shealy. Chairman.
Before I finish my report, I know that if you'll allow it, I know Councilman Jim McBride had an update that has been in public safety, so if you will allow that.
It's a totally new topic. We done with this one? Okay. Just an update, and it's kind of, time might be, sorry.
I'm sorry. Did we have a motion and a second to approve the MOU?
Yes.
So we have, let's vote on that if we may. But that would take us out of this.
This is, the motion and the second is for the entire report, because I
Okay.
think there are 3 MOA.
Keep going then.
And also the permit fee proposal for the fire marshal division.
Okay, so
Is that-
apologize. Go ahead.
That's fine. Okay, just really quick, if you refer back to the April 17th Public Safety Meeting minutes, it's referring to the Johns Island Fire Department coverage on Johns Island. A significant update to that is the county's Main Road Segment C project. They got their public feedback and they presented their tentative plan, which if executed as is, and there is room to adjust it, which is why I'm bringing it up, because of the city, I think the city should engage with them if they haven't already, would tear down the one fire station we have right now, Fire Station 17. Again, because they're going to widen Bohicket. is part of the plan. So there's room for maneuver over there, and I just wanted to make that, I have met with Councilman Boykin on the county and with, the public works staff on the county, but just wanted to make that very public and clear. So,
Okay, we have a motion properly seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it. Now we are moving to, what are we moving to? Sorry. Councilmember Waring, Public Works.
Move for approval.
Se-
And I move the adoption of the report.
Any,
All
commentary?
items passed unanimous. Most important items were taken care of in real estate, and addressed properly. And, the executive session was to inform the members of the committee what was reported out on real estate. So again, I move for the adoption of the report.
all right, we have a motion properly seconded. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, ayes have it. Now we are on to, Recreation, Councilman Parker.
Thank you, Mr.
We have a motion for approval. I'll let you have commentary. Any commentary?
Second. Anyone? I'm waiting. All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just some quick, we had a full meeting. Thanks, everyone. We had a few updates on the municipal golf course restrooms, Fort Pemberton Park, WPAL, and a couple of other items. So yes, I moved to adopt the report, and we did have one item that we needed to take action on. It is item 3B2, an ordinance to amend ordinance number 2023-278. This has to do with the bond referendum. So I moved that we approve item 3B2.
So, yeah, we have a motion for approval in a second. I do want to just make a comment for all of council on the bond referendum. We are looking to get details on that delivered to you all and get your input on it in the next 60 days. While the bond itself would not be issued until 25, I think we're hoping when we finalize the reconciliation of the budget, we might have some money to be able to spend towards pursuit costs and preliminary design costs to get the ball rolling. So when January 1 hits, we can hit the ground running. But again, want to make sure that everybody is aware of that general timeline and targeted timeline. And so look forward to working with each and every one of you on making sure those initiatives that were approved by constituents on the recent ballot get moving quickly. So we have a motion properly seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Now I will call on Councilman Seekings for his report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Committee on Traffic and Transportation met today at 3:30. You'll see the first thing says there's an ordinance to prohibit climbing upon or jumping off bridges. I don't suggest you do it. Believe it or not, there is one bridge on Daniel Island connecting Daniel Island to Captain's Island that has a pretty high elevation on it. And apparently there have been some bridge jumpers up there. So we discussed it. It's not ready to come before council. It will next month, but we generally think that's a good idea. And Councilmember Gregg, which is his district, has asked for it. The second one that's on there that you'll see is the agreement to fund traffic improvements with Pulte Home Company. That's a big, huge Johns Island PUD that was approved back in 2015. It's 300 plus acres at Maybank Highway and Cane Slash. It's complicated. There's a lot that goes with what needs to go on. This was deferred for a number of reasons, not the least of which is to figure out what the half-cent sales tax might be doing out there, what the Southern Pitchfork might look like, and some of the other reliefs that this developer is going to need to be able to achieve the obligations they have under the currently existing PUD to improve public roads. And so we're just not in a place for that to happen. We're not abdicating. We're going to hold them to it some way, shape, or form. We're just not sure what that's going to look like yet. So that was deferred, and it's not going to come back probably anytime in the near future, but we'll let you know. Then we reduced some speeds, and we raised a little bit of money with a taxi cab, both of which need approval, and I so move.
Okay, did you say so moved?
Yes,
We have
sir.
Motion.
Move for approval.
Second, any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it. Now we're back to Seekings.
Move approval.
We have motion, properly seconded for committee report on Ways and Means. Any further discussion on that one? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Now, there are 20 items
One
up
through
for,
22, including 14 as amended.
Wait,
okay, if you could, Councilman Seekings, if you could repeat that motion for the clerk.
just wanted to update, we were contacted by planning because two applicants, have requested, one has requested the withdrawal, number 18. They have requested that that annexation be withdrawn. That's 1861 Stonehenge Road. And then 21, which is 1812 Meadow Lawn Drive, they have requested that that item be deferred. And then 14 is as
amended.
amended to include the path open to the public around the entire hotel. So
Okay, who wants to make this amendment?
So I'll make a motion, so move 1 through 17 and 19 through 20, 22 through 24 for approval, 14 as amended. Move, well, I guess we leave 18 alone, and then move to defer 21.
So motion, and probably seconded.
and it's 20 and 22. 21 is deferred.
I move to defer 21.
We got it?
Yes.
Okay, we have a motion properly, involved motion properly seconded. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have
Aye.
it.
So moved.
Okay, all right. We have motion properly seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, ayes have it. We are now, there are two executive items on executive session on the agenda.
That was my motion, was deferred.
Oh, wait, I needed to also read, well,
Jennifer knows what I moved for. And Dudley knows what he seconded.
Yes.
okay.
You
Shall
just
these
gotta
bills
sign 'em.
pass?
Now you gotta sign
Yeah,
'em.
all right, I'll sign. Okay, so, I'm gonna speak real slowly about executive session. But I can sign these when we get back. All right, so, there are two executive session items on the agenda. We have one that, a discussion on the city's recent reorganization announcement, and two, to receive updates and discuss the proposed potential contractual agreements regarding 14 Sumar Street. Do I have a motion to go into executive session? All right, motion probably second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, ayes have it. What we will do, if it's okay with you all, we can go into my office, and go from there. Does that work?
Why can't we stay? There you go.
Can I have a motion to come out
Move
of
that we
executive?
come out of executive session.
Second.
Motion properly seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, ayes have it. So for the record, we went into executive session, had a healthy discussion, but no action was taken. And I need to sign this before we.
Yes, sir.
I am gonna just play some music now and, talk amongst yourselves. I will say, just a reminder about, and if y'all could respond or let me know if, July 30th would work, between, who might be able to do that? Huh? Huh? July 30th was a date that was offered to, to city council to tour, property out, on Johns Island. All right, guys, almost there. All right. If there is no further business, this meeting is adjourned.